Hey everybody, welcome back to Moving Forward. I'm Jennifer J and I'm so glad you're here today. We have a lot to dig into. So I'm going to be going through a sermon by T.D. Jakes called Dedication to Destiny. And it is actually an old sermon. This was from 2020, and the life coach that I'm talking with right now actually suggested this one to me. It made a big difference for her, and so I told her I would watch it, and I'm really glad I did. I'm going to attach it too at the end of this podcast so that you can watch it. It is so worth your time. It is out of Genesis 39, verses 20 through 23, and I'm just going to read that to you real quick. It says, "And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in the prison. But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because the Lord was with him, and that which he did, the Lord made it to prosper." So that is going to be the context of this message today, where he said, that which he did. So Bishop Jakes said, do something. You got to do something. And he was talking about decades, dreams, and decisions. So he said, you can't wait for the coast to be clear. You have to move. And boy, don't I know that. If you have watched my story, if you haven't, I hope you'll go back and watch the early episodes. But you can't wait for the coast to be clear to move. When God says go, you got to go. So the closer you get to the goal, the more difficult the conditions become, and that is so true. Dreams are fertilized in the sticky places. So he was comparing that to a garden, an actual fertilizer. It's stinky and it's nasty, and then that's what makes beautiful things grow, right? That stinky nasty is where we get the beautiful rose bushes or the vegetables or whatever it is we're planting. So it is important to go to the stinky places. How much closer are we to God, and how much nearer to his plan for us than we were 10 years ago? If you think about that and think where you were 10 years ago, how much closer are you now to your goals? And are you closer to God than you were then? That's important to take an inventory of that, but we're going to jump ahead in a few minutes too to look at the future 10 years. So maybe write down the things that you hope to accomplish in the next 10 years. What are some things that are on your goal list? What are some things that you are passionate about? Your passion is simply things that you enjoy doing, things that you dream about, things that you would do if you could. Things that you dream about. That's your passion. So write those things down. And he says in the Bible, teach me to number my days. And it's important for us to do that, to recognize where we've been and where we're going. So he said, it's easy to decide between good and evil, but it's more difficult to decide between good and great. And I know that I've talked to you guys about that before. I haven't said hello to our new subscribers. There are 15 new subscribers this week, so hello to you all. And just as a quick housekeeping, if you go up to the top toolbar where it says videos and click there, you can see the whole list of videos and go back to the beginning and watch. This is a recurring story, so as I refer to things, you'll understand what I'm referring to if you watch those. At any rate, he said it's easy to decide between good and evil, but not as easy to decide between good and great. And that is so true. But you can't do what you want, you have to do what God wants. So just because it's a just cause doesn't mean it's your cause. And so what he was saying is, you can't volunteer for everything. You can't do everything. And saying no will give you focus, because you need to focus on what has God sent you to do. So he has sent me here to do missions, and that doesn't mean sign up for the clothes closet and the food pantry and, nursery worker every week and all this. Those are all good things, and they all need done. But they're not my focus. They're not where he's sent me and what he sent me to do. So think about what he has sent you to do and try to stay focused on signing up for those things that align with the places he's told you to be. But saying no also gives you discipline, because it's hard to say no to people, right? You want to make everybody happy, and you want to, help where help is needed. So he said it gives somebody else the opportunity to say yes. When you say no, it gives somebody else the opportunity to say yes, because it is where they are aligned. It is what God has told them to do. And so if you say yes to it when it's not aligned with what God's told you to do, you rob them of the blessing, of the ability to say yes to that thing. So don't have the spirit of guilt. You got to do away with that. The enemy is a liar. He will try to put guilt on you. He will try to say, that's a thing that needs done, and you have the time and you should do that thing. Don't listen to the lies. Don't listen to the lies. He twists things up to make you feel bad, to try to get you off of your assignment. He would love for you to go do those other good things, because then you can't do the assignment God gave you. And he doesn't want you to do that assignment. So don't listen to the lies of the devil. He is a schemer. So if you have a dream, dreams have to be big. Dreams that are easily achieved, they just don't require much focus. So dream big and focus. Dreams take time. He had quoted somebody, and I'm not going to remember who, but if you watch the video, you can get that. But he said it takes 10,000 hours to make you an expert at something, and that's the equivalent of 10 years. So dreams take time. They take time. But your steps are ordered by the Lord, so don't forget that. But in 10 years, where will you be? How old will you be? Like, not just in years, but to the month and to the day. How old will you be in 10 years? Write that down. Write it down where you can keep it in front of you, and make decisions based on the decade. So he suggested this. This is, if you've been watching, you know that I make a vision board every year. And I plan the year, right? I write down my goals and my dreams for the year. He said he does it by the decade, and I love that. Do it by the decade, not just what do you want to do for this year. Where do you want to be in 10 years? In 10 years, what do you want to have accomplished? I already have so many things I want to write down on that thing. I'm going to make a vision board this weekend and write down what I want to have accomplished in 10 years, how many people I want to have shared the gospel with, how many countries I want to have been to, just all the things. Like, I just am so excited to write all this down. But he said it takes dedication to birth the thing that you dream. And he compared it to a woman in labor. So any of you women watching, even if you're a dad, if you've been in the delivery room, you kind of know. I won't say you know as well as the woman, but you kind of know. It takes a lot of pain and a lot of effort and a lot of focus to birth that baby. And he said it takes that sort of determination and pain to birth your dream. So stay focused. Keep pushing. You'll get there. And God will bless what you do. He'll bless what you do. Underline do. You have to do something. Remember, that's how he started. You have to do something. And if you don't have a strategy, it gives the enemy an opportunity to make it more difficult. That's a good quote right there. If you don't have a strategy, it gives the enemy an opportunity. You have to have a plan. You can't stay focused if you don't have a plan. He said, be around people who are feeding where you're going, not people who are kin to where you left. For me personally, if you know my story, then you know that that's huge, because people kin to where I left are in Kansas City, right? They're in Kansas. And people who are feeding where I'm going are people that are here in Arizona. And so it's important for me to stay focused on people who are here. Now, it doesn't mean, not to focus on my family, because my family is in Kansas, most of them. So I'm not talking about that, but some of those relationships, some of those endeavors that I had in Kansas need to stay there. I need to focus forward. So we connect because of where we're from, because they're connected to our history. So it's easy to connect with people where we're from, because they can connect with our history. but they are not connected to where you're going. And so I do have some friends from back when that are, they're awesome because we come from the same place, but they're not attached to where I'm going. They're not going with me. God's made that very clear to me, that they're not going with me where I'm going. So I need to let that go. Doesn't mean I can't be friends with them on Facebook or, be kind, certainly, but my energy can't be there. My focus has to be with the people that are going with me in the future. So that's important. Align with people whose destiny aligns with yours. And he says initially you're going to feel like an outsider, but you got to stay there. You got to stay in the room. He gave an example that you can't marry somebody who's good for you right now but isn't good for your future. You got to marry somebody that can grow with you, somebody who's going in the same direction as you. So for me personally, that would look like somebody who is growing in the Lord, who is in the Word and praying and going to church and doing the things without me. They're already growing in that way without me. That's somebody who could grow with me in the future. But if I'm with somebody who isn't doing those things, or is maybe only doing them because they know I want them to do it, that's not somebody who's going to grow with me in the future. So that's just an example, but you can probably think in your own life of people who align with you and people who aren't going to align with you in 10 years. And I bet you can think of somebody right now who is like that. And those are maybe some people that you need to quit spending quite so much time with. It says the turns in your life will show who's riding with you. And dedication starts in stewardship. And he used Luke chapter 16, verse 12. And I'm going to read that real quick because it's so true. Luke, 16:12. And if you have not been faithful in that which is another man's, who shall give you that which is your own? And if you go back to Joseph, because he said people will lie on you. People will lie on you. Joseph did everything right and he still lost his job. It says in verse 20, and Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison. But if you listen to all of that, the keeper of the prison put everything under Joseph's hand. Joseph was faithful and was a good steward of that which was not his. It was the keeper's. It was the keeper's job. Joseph was doing the keeper's job, but Joseph was doing a good job. And you have to remember to do that. People will lie on you. I've been lied on, and it hurts. And you'll be misunderstood and taken with wrong intentions or whatever, and it hurts. But God says be faithful. Just keep being faithful. So that's what we have to keep moving forward. So what happens when you lose a good thing? Were you only good at it? Were you only dedicated to it because of the good thing? You can't change your character to match your condition. When you lose that good thing, Joseph lost his job, his status, his credibility. He lost everything because Potiphar's wife lied on him. And his conditions changed. He left the palace and went to prison. And so, did his character change? Not a bit. He became a good steward of the keeper's things. He continued to serve God, continued to be faithful, continued to remain honest and of high integrity. And so we have to maintain who we are no matter what the season we're going through looks like. So praise him at all times. You've gone through unfair things to test your character. It's just a testing time. It's just a season. It won't last forever. So the devil will make you question God. The Lord was with Joseph in verse 20. He was there in the prison. God was there. He's in it with you. He's in it with you. He hasn't left you. He's still opening doors. He's still making a way. Even if you don't feel him in your circumstances, it doesn't mean he isn't there. And he showed him mercy, and you need to have mercy. So have mercy on yourself. His mercy is fresh every morning. You don't need yesterday's mercy. You have fresh, new mercy every single day. T.D. Jakes said, he's got fresh mercy for my stupid. So when you make mistakes, don't beat yourself up. He has fresh mercy for you every day. He doesn't have stale mercy. He doesn't have leftover mercy. He's got new mercy for you every single day till kingdom come. And he gave him favor with the warden. God will make folks like you. God will make folks like you. So just remember that. You're walking in divine favor. He's going to give you favor. So just remember, he's in it with you. And be consistent. Don't let life change who you are. Don't let conditions change who you are. God can only bless what you're consistent about. So be consistent. And take action. He's going to take you to another dimension, to a higher level, to a deeper, intimate walk with him. And the only way to get there is to be consistent. Be in the Word. What do you need to be more dedicated to? Throw your whole weight at it. God's been waiting for you, and as soon as you do, he will. So you have to do something. So what dream do you have? What dream do you have that you can be consistent with? I challenge you to write it down. Write it down. Write down what you're going to do or be or have accomplished in 10 years. Where are you going to be? Because the only way to get there is to have a plan and push through the difficult times and push through the hard stuff and stay close to God. You have to stay close to God. You can't just dream about it. You have to do the work. And part of that work is being in the Word. You have to open your Bible. Guys, it's not just going to miraculously jump into your head or your heart. You have to read it. Pray before you read. Read it. Try to understand it. Study it. Ask for God's blessings. He will open your eyes of understanding if your heart truly desires it. And that is it for today. I'm going to stop because I could just stay on the soapbox for hours. But thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you again next time. Bye-bye.